Okay, so we're starting with value today, and I'm going to use a pencil. Value is our third, or actually our fourth element. So far, we have line, shape, form. Value is the fourth that we're looking at, and these are our elements of art. And the value, what it means, is the lightness or darkness of the hue. Now a hue is the color, so a red hue, a yellow hue, a green hue. If you had a light red hue, the lightest value would be a light pink. Darkest would be a maroon. Alright. Sometimes they have different names. With other colors like yellow, you'd have light yellow to dark yellow. Then we have our black. Black is the darkest value there is, and white is the lightest. Okay, and that's the lightest and darkest. Now the technique used is shading to create it in drawing. When we talk about shading, we're not talking about an element of art. We're talking about a technique. All right, the technique that shading, the element shading creates is value. Now when you're looking at an actual object that has edges, there's often a glimmer of white, or at least a lighter value of the color along an edge. And I'm going to show you my tape. If you look at my tape here, all right, note there's a white line along this edge, all right, that is reflecting the light. If I were to draw this tape and shade it, I'd actually leave a gap where the white is on to show the edge. Okay, so I wouldn't have a dark line on the edge. I'd have actually the absence of line. I'd have a white created. I'd shade right up to an edge, or right up to the line, and then I'd shade on the other side, and it would create that little white gap in between. And again, with pencil, it's hard to see on this. So I actually could create a white line by doing that. If you look at a curved object, that's a little different. And this is my lotion bottle, and I'm bringing it out because it's white. And it's all white. We know things are white when, or they are the color they are. But if you take a look over here, there's some gray here. Okay? It's a white bottle. If I turned it, you wouldn't even be able to see them because they're reflecting the light back up. But because they're over on the side, all right, and they're in shadow, they'd actually be a gray value, not white. Along the edges, typically, if you're looking at something, the middle is going to be lighter, or where the light source is hitting is going to be lighter, and towards the edge is going to be the darker value. In this case, it's gray because it's white. All right, it would be a very light gray, but it still would change. So that's, if you look at a curved object, it has a softer change in shading. Okay, there's not a dramatic edge like there would be with my tape, and that's the difference. So anything curved has a subtle change. It'll go from lighter to darker, but there's not a dark, sharp line. All right. Here there's sharper lines because there's actually a hard edge here. There's these little indentations, but along my edge here, it's going to slowly get darker because it's just curved. And that's what you're going to have on your cylinders. All right. What we're going to do with this ruler, and you do need a ruler to get this complete, and I hope I said that at the beginning. If not, pause it, grab a ruler, and come back. You're going to create a value scale in this area. And if you draw your straight line across, if you're using your school ruler, you're going to mark it every 2 centimeters. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Okay. And what we're going to do is create a box. Okay, we're going to make it 2 centimeters long, actually 2.5. 2.5 centimeters long. If you're using an inch ruler, it is, you're going to mark them at 3/4 of an inch apart, okay, and the width is 1. But if you're using centimeters, courtesy of your agenda. It's going to be centimeters and 2. Or 2, nope, I lied, 2.5. Now the outside edge can be pretty dark. That's okay. But you're going to be drawing lines on the inside on those little notches that you've done. Notch it on the other side too, so your lines are straight. So you're going to mark it at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and then the 18 is your end. The lines you're going to draw, and you are going to draw lines from here to here. Do not draw them heavy, because we're going to create a value scale going from our lightest to your darkest in here. Okay? And we're going to do that in class. You don't have to do that as homework, because it'll take a little while. But we're going to very lightly draw these lines down. Okay? It's actually heavier. I just want to make sure it showed up. I'd like them as light as this. Can you see that one barely? That would be excellent if you can barely see them, but you can see them. That's the way to go. So you're just going to draw a line from one side to the other in each one. And that's so we're set up in class to do our value scale. When we do our value scale, just a heads up, we're going to be going from the lightest one down here to the darkest one down here, up here. Okay? I'll go over specific shading techniques in class, but as far as value for your homework, you're all set if you have this done. This set up to go. Okay, thank you.